How does ABA address SIB? The first thing we need to rule out when we have SIB is medical. And not only SIB, but a lot of behaviors, you're going to want to rule out medical first. Especially if a child is nonverbal and they notice like, oh, they're hitting their head a lot, or maybe they're pounding their stomach, you're going to want to look into that. The next thing we need to do is figure out the function of this behavior. Is it attention? Is it for tangible? Is it to escape something? Is it automatic? Now let's talk about automatic, because sometimes SIB is an automatic reinforcement to them. So some replacements, I've never had to deal with a severe self-injurious behavior that was really severe, but I've spoken with BCBAs that have, and my professors. And some, what you want to do is, like, say they're banging their head. You can try and redirect by giving them something to do, or like giving them a different activity. You want to try not to give too much attention to them hitting their, pounding their head, but you want to redirect it to something more functional. And we have this differential reinforcement of incompatible behavior, DRI. So if you give them something in their hand, then they can't pound their head. So if you give them like a book, a toy, something to redirect from that behavior, that can also be a strategy. If they're prying their eyes, rubbing their eyes, which one of my professors explained that she used to have a client that used to almost detach their retina. And what they found out was they actually gave them a light up toy, and he would just put the light up toy close to his eye because he'd still see the flashing. So they saved his eye by replacing it with a more socially acceptable and safer. He's still engaged and was reinforced by that, but it was much more safer. Another replacement could be jumping on a trampoline or going on a swing. A swing, that motion really like helps redirect, but it also gives them that sense of like sensory input that they need. One of the biggest things too is if it's for escape, we're going to want to teach functional communication training. How do we know if it's for escape? Well, we're going to take ABC data. ABC data stands for antecedent behavior and consequence. So let's say we're at the school and we notice that, oh, he always engages in SIB before he has a certain service provider. And what happens when he engages in SIB? Oh, he has this huge meltdown. Now he got to avoid and escape that service provider because he was engaging in SIB. And the redirecting part, I think you're thinking about RIRD, which is response interrupted redirection, which is back to that redirecting. You want to try not to give too much attention to the SIB, but you try to want to pull them back and redirect them to something that they could be engaging with, and that's getting them out of that behavior. And as a last resort, you're going to want to block them. You don't want them to do harm to themselves. So whether you're getting a helmet or you're putting glasses on them so they are not pulling their eyes out, there's a lot of different strategies that you can use for SIB.